Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As here we are, almost done with August. And one of the biggest pieces of XRP mainstream adoption has finally been released. Here, Gemini has come out with a 4% back credit card. An XRP rewards card has been released by Gemini as a company that used to be a Bitcoin maxi company has seen the light. Ripple and Gemini are holding hands together in the crypto market right now as we speak. And as Gemini prepares for an IPO, this card came out with a bang, as you can tell by David Schwartz. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's an incredible time to be alive if you're an XRP investor and a crypto investor as a whole, because we're about to crank the temperature up in this market. Year to date, from last year to now, XRP has experienced about a 4 to 5x in terms of its price growth, and other cryptocurrencies in the altcoin market have had around a 50% to 200% rise in their price. The reason this is so exciting is because it hasn't even started yet. Prices have only just now begun gradually climbing. And here, from the Kobesi letter, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is very likely to cut interest rates and blame a weaker labor market. September is looking like Uptember in the crypto space, and right now we're beginning to see the prices cock back for a slingshot effect throughout the entire month of September. If you don't own any digital assets right now, you will be left behind from the price surge we're about to see. And the Fed rate cuts that are coming are a major reason why. Now, a lot of people keep asking me, hey, Bull, do you think it's over? Do you think there's no more price growth truly left in XRP? And I have two answers. One, owning XRP will never be a mistake. And two, you miss some multipliers, but we've still got a ways to go. We're in phase 8 of XRP's rise to dominance. RLUSD is released. Trump's inauguration has happened. Gary Gensler has left the SEC. And XRP's strategic reserve is on the way. The Ripple case has ended. We're in the beginning of altcoin season. Ripple has been naming big bank partnerships. And an XRP ETF approval is the only thing standing between us and generational wealth. But immediately upon the XRP case ending, top asset managers have updated their XRP ETF applications. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you understand how high this price is actually going to go. I've tried to stay grounded, as throughout the years I've been disappointed by XRP price action. But right now, we've experienced a 7-year triangle. A price suppression amongst price suppression that cannot be ignored. The way this price is going to blow is going to be meteoric. My next take profit level will be the $8 to $9 mark. But there are much higher levels that I think XRP can be in store for. Kevin Cage posted, what if the XRP fractal really is just following the previous Bitcoin fractal, which is possible? That could lead us to a $22 mark in terms of XRP's price. What a show that would be. But if I'm going to be very honest with you, this blockchain backer video discussing where we are in terms of Bitcoin's price and the XRP price is something I really want you to review, as I have a lot to say about what I think is going to happen next.
But being mindful that if this thing kickstarts right now, which it historically does after moments like this, that being pretty mindful over the next 30 days that there's probably action that I'm going to be taking. Just whether or not it's going to be a bounce here from Bitcoin and then we're doing it into a parabola, or we're doing it into some type of retrace. And really, right here at this exact moment, with the Bitcoin dominance just getting ready to cross. Not quite time, but I'm mindful that that time likely is coming pretty soon. And I will say that if it upsets you to think about the idea of Bitcoin producing some type of top, whether there's still a little parabola or it's a bounce and a retrace happening in here, if you're an altcoin holder and if you have studied this market in any way over the course of the last 10 to 15 years, you should know there's really only two times there ever becomes excitement that happens in the altcoin market. And it happens when Bitcoin is either breaking out from a multi-year bear market and expanding, or when it's producing a top and there's rotations that are happening throughout the market. We've already gone through the expansion part. That was in November and December of last year. We're past that. Bitcoin's, at $110,000 to $120,000 now. Breaking through the 60s and 70s was the expansion. That's where XRP goes from 50 cents to $3. You don't have any other evidence of how alt seasons or rotations happen unless if you're producing a Bitcoin top. And so right now, it's just trying to determine how is that going to look? Is it?
And ladies and gentlemen, that could look a number of different ways. But I couldn't have said it better myself. Are we going to see a Bitcoin blow off top into an altcoin season? Or are we going to see a Bitcoin retracement, a Bitcoin pullback into an altcoin season? Nevertheless, regardless of which scenario happens, altcoin season is 100% confirmed. We are on the precipice of it, and there are still plenty of altcoins at hyper suppressed values that are gearing up to give you maximum ROI. And this is a thing that blockchain backer confirms. It's not going to take that much time at this stage of the market cycle for us to finally see this price action.
Like you absolutely could argue this thing's going to go parabolic if $109,000 holds. That means it's just a wonky, long drawn out ABC correction. That's an expanded flat where you just sweep the highs, you sweep the lows, you liquidate when you hit the lows, like we just saw. Literally theorized about this exact thing before because we've seen it before. Getting down to like 110, right? It's not like it can't just be exactly this that was written about in the newsletter. So I don't want to spook you by any means by saying that's the case. But, if this thing starts dipping down and starts heading down in here, well, I've got to have a thesis, right? And so that's what my thesis would be if we start whipping down in here. Otherwise, it's still just right on cue of how you could do just exactly this, go down and sweep that 109, 110 after sweeping the high. And so far, it's really just that, hitting 110.5. So point being, macro-wise, everything looks good. Bitcoin's a little wishy-washy. Bitcoin dominance looks awesome. You still have the altcoins. You have Ethereum pressing the highs. We seem like we're right on the brink of some really exciting times throughout the altcoin market. The question is just going to be, is it going to be into a parabola with Bitcoin or into a retrace with Bitcoin? And time will tell with Bitcoin, but we've got what we need in macro to happen right now. We're just having to patiently wait for those evidences to show up. And when they do show up, to just still remember, like when you're tuning into this channel, like I know, like, man, everybody wants time predictions, right? And like if 30 days passes and you're like, have you done anything yet? You said you were going to do it. I don't know yet, but I'm real mindful of it, that it could be that fast, right? And that's the point I'm trying to make. Like,
Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin dominance is falling. Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out. A sub $5 XRP is about to be a thing of the past. There's a theory going around that XRP will repeat the 2017-18 cycle. And in that cycle, XRP 589x'd from the bottom to the peak in price action. And that's an actual fact. While the figures on the screen right now aren't correct, we should be starting from 60 cents as opposed to $3.14 like in this post. If we were to repeat a 589x from the market lows for XRP, we would have an over $300 XRP price. I'm not calling for that, but that's just perspective as to how explosive XRP's price has historically grown in a cycle like this. Ladies and gentlemen, my next target is $8 for XRP, and I will be taking some profits. Absolutely. But let me be the first to say I'm more bullish on XRP than all of you. That's why I've created the entirety of my channel around XRP. And that's why I've been reporting on it for 7 fucking years. Now the time has arrived where you guys see where all this value is going to be created. The further Bitcoin dominance continues to fall, the closer an altcoin season will be, and XRP will be the leader of that. Remember when President Donald Trump discussed a US crypto reserve and started off by naming XRP, for example? Remember when Ripple met directly with President Donald Trump? In real time, we're having headlines like XRP's market cap passing BlackRock. And this November, the ISO 2002 standard for cross-border payments, the final deadline, will arrive. This transition of XRP going through the birth canal of one financial system to the next, it's going to be powerful, seismic, and painful for a lot of people. But for those of us that have been positioned correctly, it's going to feel oh so good. The reason is because by the year 2030, I genuinely believe these astronomical values for XRP's price will be achieved. A $10,000 XRP price is what I believe XRP was intended for. However, that's going to take some time. By 2030, if we get swift volume, the DTCC, ISO 20022, numerous other use cases, like derivatives, for example, we can completely take over these markets. Tokenized value on the XRP ledger is an inevitability. And right now, we just have to hold and wait. 2030 is going to be a powerful year. By the time XRP achieves all of these values, numerous geopolitical events will have occurred. But until then, hold on to your hats. Make as much money as possible. And know that holding on to XRP is winning the lottery in slow motion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. And before I leave you for today, if you aren't doing so already, please follow me on OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/thebearablebull, as I'm reviewing in your DM comment replies how to profit take from XRP this cycle and how I'm going about doing so. I also left another high ROI gem posted on the main page for all of you to see. Please subscribe and please take a look. As always, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.